anticipate compiling all of the comments and putting those online and putting them out to everybody after this meeting so everybody can see the answers, the responses from staff. We're going to make every effort we can to respond to as many questions as we can prior to the final two workshops. We'll probably include some of that in the final two workshops if it's relevant. And we'll put that out for everybody to see the responses from staff, all questions. So with that, number one, go ahead.
Are we supposed to introduce yourself or?
Yes, please take your name for the record.
My name is Jeff Meany, and I should probably disclose that I'm a citizen member of the Gainesville Development Review Board, so we're used to seeing development proposals on a much smaller scale. There's other citizen advisory boards that see much bigger proposals. I don't think any of us are used to seeing big proposals like this. You've practically been in it with the staff or overwhelmed practically. I think that if UF were establishing itself today as a land-grant university, a land grant meaning it needs a lot of land for agricultural research, which they're known all over the world for, you'd probably reject it. You'd dismiss for some unusual reasons. You wouldn't think about how it would help the people, the community. The emphasis on the comprehensive plan's urban cluster, I think, is misguided. I think it's backwards. You should be focusing on the east side where we need it. It's true, if you add up all the industrial availability of acreage in the county, it comes a smidgen close to what Plum Creek is proposing, but it's scattered everywhere with a million different property owners. It's not realistic to use that as an argument. The wetlands or the soil, east and west soil, I think, again, you're building on the wrong side. The rainwater absorbs fast on the west side, and that's where you really shouldn't be building. That's why we get sinkholes. When you pave over so much of the county with asphalt and concrete, the rainwater, which has been falling for millions of years on that soil, is no longer penetrating the soil, and you're getting sinkholes all over Florida. It's not just because we're using more water, that's true. It's because you're paving over the aquifer. And those dry spots are collapsing when we get downpours like we've seen recently. You should be emphasizing on the east side. Represent the people on the eastern half of the county for change. That's what we need. Thank you.
Number two, please. And we're going to refrain from clapping. Number two, and if number three is available also to come on down, we want to sort of keep things moving along so we can give everybody a good chance to speak and maybe even get home a little early. So, you're number three. So maybe two went home. So maybe number four can come down. So number three, go right ahead. We have your name here. Say your name now.
My name is Frank Weinberger, and my question is, Envision Labs has been showing at least two promotional videos surrounding Gainesville. One by Dr. Pierce Jones from IFAS and another from Dr. White. Has the county reviewed these films and fact-checked the claims they make? What do they get right and what do they get wrong? So, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is James Dick, out of the Incorporated Section of East Atlantic County.
That's number four. Please, number 5 and 6, be ready. Thank you.
And I have a question for you. It has to do with costs. Plum Creek will require lots of new infrastructure, such as water and sewer systems, schools, new wide roads, public transit, fire stations, and much more. How much of this does the Plum Creek plan include, and how much will the public be asked to pay for both construction and maintenance and when? We don't need a city to stop.
Thank you. Number 5.
My name is Frank Morley, and I'm a concerned citizen of Alachua County. I have several questions for you. I'll try to ask some bids. I can within 3 minutes allowed. what type of jobs does the Plum Creek project promise to produce, and what kind of jobs does the unemployment workforce in Alachua County need? The second question I have is, if Plum Creek promises to put thousands of acres in conservation, how much of that land is in conservation already? And how much acreage will be added to conservation status if the Plum Creek plan changes or proposals are approved? And the third question I have is this. If the jobs that Plum Creek is promising to bring to the area are for local people who already have housing infrastructure, why is the housing even needed? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Number 6.
My name is Randy Coffey. My question is, what transit arrangements exist or will be created to allow East Gainesville residents a chance to get to possible jobs in Plum Creek, and how much will that cost the county?
Thank you. Moving right along. Number 7.
My name is Ernest Ellis, born and raised in Gainesville, Florida. Been in Hawthorn County all my life. I think it would help us to attract more diversity industries throughout the area. And that would probably better provide the jobs for people at all education levels. The east side of our county has been left behind as the development moved west. And we all know that. We need to provide more opportunities for our children and our students at the University of Santa Fe College. I am struggling to support my family. We need more stable jobs with reasonable wages. Having a large landowner with the patience and resource to invest in a long-range plan like this one is a very unique opportunity for one we should take full advantage of. Regardless of what it takes, if one person, one family, or a multitude of families can enhance their lifestyle, it's worth it.
Thank you. Number 8.
My name is George McNulty. I'm a member of the Environmental Protection Advisory Committee. And while we generally don't address regional planning and focus on science, I think this issue begs to be addressed. When the term designated urban clusters is used, that's classic regional and urban planning done where students are taught that leapfrogging is tantamount to sport. It is equivalent to sport. And I think it's extremely foolish for the city and the county per se to consider doing one of the fundamental taboos of wise living in the regional planning. As far as the brilliance of Plum Creek in terms of its plan, kudos have to be given to the labor market. They're outstanding. Nothing ever seen has been so cleverly done. I think military theoreticians would be impressed. I think that even the use of the term vision is a form of seduction to enter into, to entertain the idea that this really is more than primary increase in value for concrete share.
Number 9 now. Number 10 is Carol. Number 11.
Hi, my name is Reverend Dr. Connie Barnes Kelly. I live in Windsor. I'm a mother, farmer, healer, environmental activist, and a spiritual leader advisor. I applaud the county staffers for their hard work in preparing this report and their recommendations tax dollars have been well spent. My family and I moved here from Miami almost 20 years ago. We sought refuge from the urban area Miami had grown to become. It just didn't agree with our lifestyle any longer. We lived here for 39 years and watched Miami slowly become so built out that there was not one green space left. It was very, very sad. Miami just didn't agree with us any longer. When we moved to Windsor, we were given back our lives, freedom from overcrowding and stress, small town USA. Some people love well-developed urban developments. We are willing to live without the concentrated benefits of residing in the urban boundary areas of Alachua County. We are grateful for the gifts we enjoy here, the quiet, the walks down roads without excess traffic, the darkening skies at sunset without the glow of nighttime in the more urban area skies. We live on 2 acres with an organic garden, and the air we breathe is clean, pine trees, wetlands, the cry of owls and hawks, the deers that sneak in to gobble roses. Quietly, we live quietly with nature and spirituality, knowing that the nearby natural resources, wetlands, groundwater are safe and not threatened by inappropriate development. And if this happens, I live really close to Newton's Lake, and all of that drains down through my property and down into Newton's Lake. I'm going to get all the runoff from this development as it's being developed, and later as people have their swimming pools and they use pesticides and whatever else is going to happen here. This is not the first county to fight against inappropriate development on this scale. It is the responsibility, indeed the mission, of a government to protect its lands, natural resources, and the spiritual needs of its residents. Growth management is one of the most important guidelines our county has to protect not only our natural resources, but our tax dollars as well. The reason development is encouraged within the urban development boundary is to utilize services, schools, police, transportation, water, medical, etc. that already exist. I feel it's inappropriate to allow this development so far from services to go ahead. I urge the Alachua County Commission to follow the recommendations of its planners and deny Plum Creek proposed changes to our well-thought-out, supportive plan. My personal comment to Plum Creek: don't promise jobs to East Gainesville and make them wait. If you truly care about those who need education and jobs, go ahead and build those facilities now and bring those services to those that need it now. Don't wait.
Thank you. Please. Thank you.
My name is Bobby Walton. I've been in Windsor 50 years and love it. And I think everybody here that lives in Windsor loves it. But you know, I worked on the other side of town to be an hour to get to work for 26 years. And I would dearly love to see jobs open up on this side of town so people wouldn't have to drive 2 hours of their day to get to work. And you know, when we moved to Windsor, we bought 10 acres. And we got a deed that says we own 10 acres. We didn't get a deed that says you own 10 acres and you're never going to have a neighbor. We got a deed that said we own 10 acres. So, as much as I can sympathize with the people that come to Windsor 50 years ago and bought a small tract of land, for them to think that there's never going to be progress, I don't understand that. This progress by Plum Creek is one of the most well-planned developments that could ever happen in this town. And it is truly a gift to Windsor and to Hawthorn. Thank you.
Number 11. Take a brief technical pause here.
Ellen Voss, City of Hawthorn. 50 years ago, it was 1965. In 1965, I-75 was in its infancy. The main north-south corridors were US 301 and US 441. US 441 brought the majority of the traffic through downtown Gainesville, and that's where all the energy and development was, centered around the corridors of US 441 and State Road 20. US 301 was the east side of the north-south corridor. That brought the I-75 became the prominent north-south route, it started pulling away slowly all of our businesses and developments on the east side. It left Hawthorn, it left East Gainesville, it left downtown Gainesville. If we had looked at all the cow pastures, family farms, and other things in West Gainesville, there was nothing between 34th Street and I-75 in 1965 but rural cow pastures, rural home sites. If you'd had an opportunity to do a 50-year master plan, what would you have done differently? So what I would recommend and what I would suggest is that we look at this master plan and see what we can do to get it done so that we have a good plan for the next 50 years of what's going to happen on the east side of town. The city of Hawthorn voted unanimously to support the sector plan. So we hope that you'll reconsider, take a good look at it, and understand what would you have done differently if you could have done a sector plan when I-75 came through.
Thank you. Number 12 and number 13 is Ms. Hawthorn.
This one. I'm Karen Chadwick, and I'm just going to read my comments so I don't forget anything. Water management districts have admitted their model they use to assess permit applications is inaccurate and does not address conduit issues in karst. That's a quote. I've heard that comment at several St. Johns River Water Management District and Florida Department of Environmental Protection meetings. There's a next generation model being created according to St. Johns River Water Management District. Their staff recently recommended denial of the Squeaky Creek Medina consumptive use application because the district found that Silver Spring Shed has been over-allocated. Ann Shortell, director of the Swanee River Water Management District, stated a few months ago there's a 15% voluntary compliance with the consumptive use permit holders to meter water usage in her district. No one really knows how much water is being used. The President's Cancer Panel report of 2009 mentions a link to cancer affecting farmers and their families because of exposure to pesticides and nitrates. Elevated nitrates can also cause blue baby syndrome, which can lead to infant deaths. Melanoma was listed as a possible cancer risk. I've had 3 skin cancer surgeries this summer, including 1 melanoma. Got stitches in my throat right now. A decades-long study published by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and the Florida Geological Survey titled Regional Statewide Trends in Florida Spring and Well Groundwater Quality found chlorides and other minerals from the lower aquifer are moving up and mixing with the water in the upper aquifer, and this is changing the chemistry of the springs and groundwater, our drinking water. A farm in Hastings withdrew so much water recently the salty water came up and turned the field brown. St. Johns River Water Management District told them to raise their wellheads so they could withdraw water from higher up the upper aquifer. This is not the 1950s anymore. We must proceed with caution. State agencies continue to issue permits that allow for more degradation of the natural systems, such as the water that we all depend on. Whether you have a private well in a rural area or you get your water from a utility, we are all facing the same concerns. If our water becomes undrinkable due to overpumping and contamination, what will we do then? And I have some quotes, I'll turn these in, right off of your report that talks about how the springs issues and the groundwater was not even looked at all. There's no information on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 13.
My name is Sharon Sorensen, and I live in Hawthorn, actually outside of the city limits in the county. What I want to talk to you about this morning is, or this afternoon, is that the experience I have in Hawthorn, I've lived here 42 years. I was the mayor of Hawthorn for 16 years and served in other political functions. I also am a registered nurse, a public health nurse. And so I've gotten to know the families that are in this community. So I'm here really to speak on their behalf. Families that are disenfranchised financially, families that are disenfranchised economically and socially. One of the things that I like about our democracy is that I can come here and speak to you and appeal to the county commissioners and elected officials about what I think should happen. But that's what I think should happen. When we speak and think about other people and how they're going to live their lives and their families live their lives, and that's a little bit different. The other part of what makes our democracy so good is that our elected officials should be accountable to us when we appeal to them to think about what our needs are. So tonight I want to ask the county commission to think about when they make a decision on this, to think about the fact that this area of the county needs jobs and housing. Those are the main things we need right now, jobs and housing. I am lucky enough to be able to drive across the county to the west side of the county where the water drains very well and work every day. Not everyone has that capability. We know that obstruction to home rule comes in many disguises. Some of those disguises are this very plan, this comprehensive plan. Some of those disguises are staff decisions. But I want the county commission, as elected officials, to think about the plea of our citizens for housing and for jobs on this side of the county, and not go into so much of the plan itself being an obstacle for them. The other thing I just want to say is that for future meetings, if you really want input from the citizens, don't schedule a meeting at 5 o'clock, because those who work can't come to it. But if you don't want to hear from us, then schedule them all at 5 o'clock. Thank you.
Please, next speaker, number 14.
I'm Vicki McGrath, and I work at the School Board of Alachua County, and I really just wanted to make a comment about schools. As probably everybody is painfully aware, we're under-enrolled here at the elementary school and at the middle high. At final build-out, we probably have a need for 2 to 3 new elementary schools, a middle school, and a high school. We have sat down with Plum Creek and talked about what these needs are, and they are prepared to provide the land for that. So I would just say that the school perspective that that infrastructure will come with the development and not those volunteers. Yes, I'm Director of Community Planning for the school board, and I sit on the task force.
Good evening, my name is Louis Taylor. I'm a resident of the other side of 301, all over the public county line. I have witnessed for the last 58 years this country, this county, build up that is going to now on the west side, and it's ruined the west side of Gainesville completely, as far as I'm concerned. Now they want to come over here in Hawthorn and ruin this side of the county. When I bought these property I bought, I was promised across the street there would be no development. None whatsoever. Now there's 39 people living across from me and around me. What happened? Where did all these people come from? There's an area down the road I put up with, two areas I put up with down the road, and it's right behind that blue creek. The slope is right down and out in Waterloo Lake. And that area is putting all kinds of stuff into that creek. Nobody cares about it. The county hasn't repaved that road I live on in 27 years. The road between here and Minnesota down there, there's a place called 2082. It's one of our scenic routes in Gainesville. I would be ashamed of myself when I was a county commissioner and let that road be part of our county. That's ridiculous. If you can't keep up roads like that, what are you going to do over here in Windsor when we get the concrete back? You know, it's going to be ridiculous. People have cars going all crazy. 219, look at it. You can't drive down that road hardly. 1474, that's a nice, easy road. All these people say I'm being very selfish because I don't want people around me. Well, that's why I bought when you were what I did. Now, I'm seeing all these people that have got some pieces that are stuck around. They're selling them pieces out. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 16.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. My name is Heather Stearns of Bristow. Thank you for listening to our wants and needs. I'm a lifelong resident of Hawthorn. In my 36 years of living here, I have yet to see this town grow, and actually it is shrinking. Here in Hawthorn, we are all family, no matter what background we come from. We come together and do what we can with what we have, which isn't much. We all help each other when we fall. I don't know how much longer we can hold each other up. We were devastated by the loss of GP that included over 400 jobs. Other small businesses have had to close their doors, and the remaining businesses are barely making it. I'm an independent worker and get calls weekly by so many people asking if they know of any jobs or yards that could be cut or properties to be cleaned. I wish I had work for them because I know they are good people to provide for their families. They are wanting to work, not looking for a handout. We need jobs. Our schools are hurting. This past weekend, I had my 18th class reunion. 8 go Hornets. So 18 years ago, there were over 700 students. Now there's 250 here. Hawthorn residents have had to uproot their families to find work, which means less children in the community. We have a beautiful school, great staff, and amazing leadership. We are well on our way to succeeding, but we lack programs due to number of enrollment. Did you know that 65% of our students live in poverty? Can you imagine their home life? Parents are so focused on how to put food on the table that they can't spend time with their child or help with homework because you want them to drive to the west side of the county to work. There's no quality of life in that. Try walking in their shoes. Maybe check out one of those children and see what their quality of life is. We have room for this 50-year growth in our schools and in our community. We have the infrastructure. But you have already said our roads are not a priority for repaving because we have lack of numbers. We need to increase our tax base and quit adding to the 46% of Alachua County that does not pay taxes. So many locals that I have talked to have lost faith and hope because they feel as though no one in the county cares. Again, we do not want a handout. We want an opportunity to have an American dream, to be able to work hard for our families and to raise our children to be good citizens. I have 2 kids, a 9-year-old and a 1-year-old, and as a parent, my job is to provide for them a future. I hope that future would be here. But if we do not start somewhere with hopes of economic growth, then they will have no other choice but to be like so many of my classmates I saw this past weekend that now are living in Jacksonville, Orlando, Atlanta, and even more of them are further out of state. I'm asking you to please vote yes for one precinct. Thank you.
Number 17, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Scott Camille. I've lived in Alachua County for 44 years. I represent a group called Stand By Our Plan. Our group formed to defend and educate about the comprehensive plan. We have read the sector plan. We have read your analysis of the sector plan. We agree with your analysis. We're appreciative of all of the work that the Growth Management Department and the staff has done. We don't believe that the sector plan addresses the elements, and we believe that the sector plan is a classic sprawl. We agree with mixed-use development. We don't think this is the place for it. We are confused by the difference in the information that's being given by our local Plum Creek people and the CEO of Plum Creek. The CEO of Plum Creek, Rick Howley, on April 28th, speaking to shareholders in Atlanta, said that Plum Creek we do not intend to pursue vertical development. Their plan is to change the zoning and increase the value of their land. So while here they're telling us all these things they want to do, their CEO says the strategy is just to increase the value of the land. We'd like to know what you think about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Matt Sternstein, Mayor City of Hawthorn, lifetime resident. Even my family started off in the Windsor area, came to Grove Park, and then now in Hawthorn, and spread out throughout the county and even this region. A few quick questions. It seems kind of disingenuous if you invite us all here for questions and answers. We take our questions but provide no answers. For many of the people that live here, they can't make these meetings that you have, especially at 5 o'clock, in different places throughout the town. So it would have been a whole lot more helpful if you all would actually answer some of the questions that were provided here so that everybody could have good answers. The other thing is most of these people that are here actually care about the Hawthorn community, the east side of the county, and we all want the same thing. We all want to be able to protect our environment, provide for our families to have a good opportunity as far as economic development. And this is what we think is trying to mix the two of those together. Now, staff and commissioners that are present, you can take the easy way and cop out and just either say denial or approve. That's the easy way to get out of it. But or you can go look into it further and actually, have a two-way dialogue and try and figure out, okay, this is what I don't like about your plan. This is what I do like about the plan. We're not saying that you have to do everything in the book. We want something that will work for our community. We want y'all to take our input for what we want in our community. What we want maybe around the city limits on Hawthorn be different than what you want in the Windsor area, the Grove Park area, or vice versa. But you got to take that instead of the easy way out and just cop out and just not do anything. The part about the drainage part, you show that slide of where it drains at. That's because there's limestone on the left-hand side of the county. That's why we're in two different water management districts, is because it's clay-based on the right-hand side. Well, that keeps us from having the sinkholes. I imagine the water's draining very good behind Campus USA Credit Union that's out there in Jonesboro with a big sinkhole behind it. I don't think that's very good for them. I think that they probably had a chance, and it was feasible and efficient. They'd more rather develop here on the east side of the county, where they don't have to worry about the sinkhole being there. But Celebration Point, Springfield, Tioga, all of those are all on the west side of the county. Nothing goes east. When was the last time anything happened east? We're not asking you to give us everything. We're just asking you don't kick us while we're down, and we're actually trying to get something right here. Work with us on a plan that will work. Try and work with Plum Creek or whoever other developer comes to you. I'm not for anybody or against anybody else. I want you to work with somebody. In that 4,500 acres that you put out there, that's malarkey that you're putting it on the screen because it's not efficient. If you're running a business, you can't have 1 acre over here in Arch and an acre in Waldo and consider that one industrial or 2 industrial acres. Also, the county, and you just alluded to it earlier about having the roads repaired. Well, a lot of people out here would like to have these roads repaired, 219As and 1474s, but everything for fixing our roads and transportation is due to population. I understand. Population to fund our schools, population for sales tax for our revenue. But if you look at your MTPO, everything goes west, just like in businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 19, please.
Good evening, I'm Donna Bowles. I am the current president of the Hawthorn Area Chamber of Commerce. I am also a Hawthorn area resident and a business manager for Hawthorn Insurance. I am here on behalf of the Hawthorn Area Chamber of Commerce to ask the City of Washington County Commission and staff to approve the revision of the Washington Settlement Plan. As we understand the current comprehensive plan, it limits the ability to develop and use the property for anything other than agricultural and conservation. The east side of Washington County has seen no growth for over 25 years. The fact is that most of the eastern side of Washington County has been in decline, even with the best efforts of the Gainesville Chamber of Commerce and our own chamber to move forward. Just in the last 5 years, Hawthorn has lost 450 jobs at the GP plant, 50 jobs in the food service industry, and hundreds of jobs in the construction field. Small businesses have closed all over the area due to the decline of customers to patronize them. We need growth here that will bring jobs and people to shop locally. All of the jobs and education opportunities are either in western Washington County, eastern Putnam County, Marion County, or in growth. The U.S. Census Bureau estimates that the percentage of the Washington County population below poverty rate is 24.6%. Of that, eastern Washington County is estimated at Greater Alachua County between Windsor and Hawthorn. We've been here about 11 years. We love it out here. And I'm really glad to see our county commissioners here tonight because this is a very important topic for us all. I don't have a speech, I just have one question. Of the thousands of proposed residences, how many will consist of affordable housing? And what will the other houses cost? And how many empty units at that price level do we now have in our county? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Number 21.
Hello, my name is Diane Stevens, and I live in Hawthorn on 2082. I've lived here about 24 years, and I've been in Florida for longer than that. Basically, I just wanted to find out or ask the question, what jobs are going to come out of this? From my understanding and what I do know thus far, and I'm still investigating and still reading, envision or this concrete has been going on since about 2011. And I just read some articles in the papers, in the newspapers, things like that, that there's been a lot of money donated around town, around Gainesville, to different organizations like Santa Fe, University of Florida, Riker House, on and on, that sort of goes there. So there's been a lot of donations made to a lot of different organizations, and, you know, I'm just wondering about that. Does that make this more acceptable to the community? I'm really interested in jobs, interlocking, not just talking. People need jobs here. I have a friend of mine that has 2 master's degrees from the University of Florida and had to end up going to Fort Lauderdale area to actually get a job. Basically what we had in Gainesville is service jobs. If I really want to find a job, I can get it towards Alachua. So my question is, what is this going to do for the people in this area, period, to help the people? And I'm also concerned about the conservation, about the land, you know, about the water issues, about the waste issues, and just really, my understanding is Envision is going to sell this property, develop it, and sell it. They're going to do the roads, set it all up, and then it'll be sold to the developer. And there's no promise of any jobs that I've seen in Earth. In reality, coming out of it.
Thank you.
Good evening, thanks for being available. Helen Warren, resident of Gainesville, longtime resident of Florida, grew up in Pinellas County, that became one of the most densely populated communities in the nation, second to Orange County in Los Angeles during the 90s. I've seen the effects of growth in the community without a plan, and during the early 2000s, I was able to sit at the table with a comp plan development at the health department on the east side of Gainesville, and during that period of time, several days that I was able to participate, the discussion was on wetland protections. And at that point, 75 feet was all we could get. As somebody interested in the environment and conservation, that was considered a loss. We have an opportunity now to look at our comp plan as being one of the best in the state, which is also one of the best in the nation, because a lot of states don't do a comp plan. But let me say that is not to say that this comp plan cannot be improved upon. What we were dealing with in 2000 is different from what we're going to deal with in 2030. It's different from what we're going to deal with in 2015. The projected growth for this state of Florida is something that we cannot hide our head in the sand with our discussions on how Alachua County is going to grow. We have in Alachua County some of the best leadership for growing to handle the people, the numbers that are projected. And a really big part of that picture has to be jobs, meaningful jobs, not just flipping burgers, but jobs that when somebody's in first grade and they're on a path that says, you're not going to football or basketball. We need something else that's meaningful for everybody by the time they're in third grade to feel like I'm going to have something to contribute, whether I have a high school degree or not. So I have been able to have, I think, a wonderful opportunity that I've been able to sit at the table with the task force for Plum Creek for the last year and a half. And as one who can be very critical of anything, I have been able to say that I have seen over and over again the conversation and questions and concerns come up with what are we going to do, and to see the next month the meeting comes back with answers to those questions and concerns. If we're going to grow, we need to grow smart and wise. And east side or west side, whether it's wetlands or drylands, every square foot out there is precious. And our water ethic, what Plum Creek is offering is a water ethic that could be a role model for other communities to develop. So don't hide from the process. The process has been open to the whole community. Participate with it. Don't come in at the 12th hour and want to just say, no. Get involved in the process. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Harvey Ward. I'm a longtime resident and native of Washoe County. And I want to say, first of all, that there's nobody here involved in any of this process who doesn't want jobs to happen in this community. We all think jobs are a good idea, including the people who don't necessarily think that Envision Washoe is a good idea. What's been disappointing to me about this process over the last few weeks and months is that people who said, well, maybe this isn't a good thing, maybe we should put the brakes on this, have been accused of being racists or somehow opposed to anything good happening in the east side of the county. And that's wrong. That's not fair to people who have spent their lives working hard to bridge race relations in this county, and I hate to see that. My question tonight, I've asked earlier many people involved in the Plum Creek process, not only what jobs are you going to bring to this area, but also exactly who's going to bring those jobs, how is this going to be developed, and what are the longer-term implications. I'm glad to see that you're going to address transit and a number of those things at a future meeting, and I fully intend to be at that meeting. My question is, why do we need to vilify folks who are asking questions here? And the other question that I would have for you all specifically is, what has growth management had to say about the area that's planned for the Hawthorn area specifically, as opposed to the whole thing? I've been told that we have to accept the whole project in full, and that there's no possibility of breaking off just the Hawthorn area. The truth is that the Stand By Our Plan folks have said all along that what's been proposed in Hawthorn seems like a pretty good idea. And I'm interested to know if growth management has the same ideas about what's been proposed for Hawthorn. And if so, why do we need to hold the city of Hawthorn and people who are looking for development here hostage to building a city in the middle of the swamps over by Windsor? Let's talk about just Hawthorn as its own piece. That would be my hope, and I'm interested to see what growth management has to say about just Hawthorn.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. 24, thank you.
My name is Marshall Irving. I live outside of Windsor. I'd like to say something about the order.
Number 25. I'm sorry, did we miss number 24? Okay, we'll take 25 next, we'll go 24 after that. 26 is on deck. Thank you.
All right. I'd like to make a little comment about the water. The lady before did it very well. I'd like to ask a question. Several times I have not received a right answer for it that I agree with. So I'm asking it again. But first, I would like to make a short comment. As one drives down the roads of the area, you see the low levels of our lakes. And you can get consistent outcry in the newspaper articles about the condition of our springs. I'd like to say noting these things, I believe that the aquifer is in trouble, especially after following the Sleepy Creek issue. I have let's see the estimates where Plum Creek project will consume between 2 and 8 million gallons of water per day. Now I ask you, how can anybody use, I don't know where this is actually come from, but the word right now, how can anybody say 2 million, 8 million, and you even think about considering it? I'd like to know, where is this water coming from to support Plum Creek's project? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to number 24, Mr. Bradley.
Thank you. My name is Jill McGuire. I'm from Melrose. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for making these workshops available to the people. I hope that we will have a Saturday workshop come around. It's true about the timing. It's difficult for people to get here by 5 o'clock, and if they're not here in the beginning, they can sign out. A lot of people just sort of give up. So, at any rate, I just want to say I am really proud of Alachua County's comp plan. I know it's considered one of the best in the state. A lot of people look to it as a great example, and for good reason. It's very protective of our resources. I live over on Lake Santa Fe. And I believe we're one of the last large lakes in our area with good water quality. We're now standing Florida water like Wapaloosa, but I know that they're in trouble. They're in here like Women's Lake. Both of those lakes are going to be heavily impacted if this massive development comes to fruition, which there's no guarantee of that, of course. But a few people have already spoken about this point, but would love to get an answer to whether it's feasible at all to hope that the industrial area around Hawthorn, which we in Melrose very much support our friends in Hawthorn wanting jobs and some developments and industrial commercial development there where it's appropriate, whether it's feasible, that Plum Creek would they accept a partial plan without having all of their requests for massive development and wetlands that they're so concerned about the consequences of that. I don't think anybody that lives in this part of Florida doesn't know numerous people that have come here to escape what is happening from, I was going to say Central Florida down, but this one locality down. The sprawl has destroyed what old Florida used to be like, and we still have that around here. Some of us we know that our little towns are backward. We like it that way. It's hard to explain that to people that don't live in the small towns, but it's something that if this happens and the scale is planned for, it's all going to go away.
Thank you. Thank you. We're on number 26 now. About what?
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Albert White. I am born and bred right here in Gainesville, Florida. As a matter of fact, I grew up in zip code, over at 32641. I think that's my old zip code number. I'm here to just say a few words about the Indigenous Alachua project. I spent 21 years at Gainesville Regional Utilities, protecting its ground and surface waters. After leaving Gainesville Regional Utilities, I went over to the Chamber of Commerce where I served as Vice President and the Executive Director before going back to GRU for 3 months that turned into almost 10 years. I served on the committee, was appointed by the County Commission back in about 1999, I think it was, 2000, to review the comp plan, and specifically the economic development elements of the comp plan. spent hours, we spent days on that thing. It was an arduous task to review every element of that plan. It's interesting because we really weren't productive. We didn't get a whole lot done because we couldn't agree on anything. And I'm convinced this day that the comp plan does not address the economic needs of this entire community. It does not. Just from that experience that I had in reviewing, and I have most of the stuff that we worked on from that time, I have that with me. I keep everything. I want to fast forward to 2014 just a minute. And when I look back and I look at what Gainesville is now, we really have not progressed from an economic development standpoint. We are lagging behind those cities that are of similar size to Gainesville. Folks in this county are hurting. They are truly suffering. And there is no need for that. Now we have an opportunity here to change that, to make a change from an economic development standpoint with Envision Alachua. And that's extremely important to me. It's extremely important. Folks are hurting so badly that in my whole zip code, the poverty rate is 31% now. And the median family income is only $28,000. Only $28,000. Now we've got to do something about that. We've got to make something happen. And I'm hoping that our county commission will step forward and stop this economic development bleeding that's going on right now. I say that literally. The economic development bleeding that's happening to Alachua County. I say to you, I say to the staff, I say to the county commissioners, that folks are hurting, and I ask you to step forward, to step up, and stop the bleeding in Alachua County. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 27, please.
My name is Virginia Nappi. I've been living in Gainesville for 35 years. And since I came to Gainesville, I saw a big decline in this area. This was before the Oak Small and everything that moving out west. I think that having the opportunities of new jobs that Plum Creek is designing would be excellent for everyone. Everyone here that lives here complains that we have to drive 2 hours a day, and the quality of life in their family really hurts. So I think this is something that we should really look into, try to work it out for the betterment of the whole Alachua County. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 28, please.
Thank you. My name is Charlie Reed. I live in North Hawthorn on 219A. And I'd like to say to begin with that my business is directly dependent on growth, and specifically growth in water supply and wastewater industry. Having said that, we hear lots of promises, lots of opinions, and lots of emotions about this proposed amendment. But I prefer to deal with the facts. This is a copy of the staff report that was done by Alachua County Road Management. I challenge every one of you, if you have not read this report, to do so. You cannot form a solid opinion on this without reading the facts. Okay, I read this report this past weekend. It's 137 pages long. And not to be redundant in it, but there are several key points in it that I thought that my guess is a lot of people in the audience do not know. One of the, obviously the county staff has recommended denial to the county commission. Basically, one of the key points, there's no urban development, there's no infrastructure, and there's no planned infrastructure to support this development. There are extensive wetlands, poorly drained, and there's not appropriate for the scale of the development that's proposed. Part of the application from Plum Creek stated that there was a need for industrial type properties. The county staff analyzed this, and they found that that is definitely not the case. That is not true. Now, I've heard lots of good points here tonight that all those industrial properties located in one cluster, no, they're not. But there's plenty of places in the urban cluster that can be developed for industrial uses. Another thing that I keep hearing about is jobs. Yes, we need more jobs in the Hawthorn area. But if you look, that's way too early. But if you look at the level of skills required, yes, there will be service jobs, there will be convenience stores that come in on the tail end of this. But you have to have the technological skills and the education if you want to rise from the level of poverty level. Okay? All right, to sum it up, once again, I encourage everybody to read this report. I'm very impressed by the county staff and the details and the complexity of this report. You guys did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
I'm Richard Chamberlain, and I live over there on the other side of the beach where everybody's talking about it. It's a big suburb. And let me tell you, it's a great place to live. It's prosperity, and I love it. And if the people of Hawthorn want to experience it, if they want to have it too, go for it. Do it. The suburbs are a great place to live. And if you go out to a construction job, you'll see everybody working. Black people, white people, brown people, women, and men, and everybody who makes money on the subdivision, they're not all working on site. There's people that are painters, there's people that are designing houses and title clerks. If you want prosperity, go for it.
Thank you. Next speaker, please, on the page. 30, yes, please.
My name is Jeff Tucker. I'm the owner of Twin Lakes Station Camping. And I'd like to know this is already a done deal, or is this on a big body pony show for everybody? Because everybody asks all kinds of questions and nobody gets one damn answer on anything. You know, nobody takes into consideration the amount of water we're using. Right now, I have a fish camp. I'm one of the last few on Cross Creek because we've been almost 2 years with no water. Now you're going to start bringing more and more water out of the lakes. You know, when we had the last drought, we had all the problems with weeds. I'm sure you heard about the tussocks and everything we've had problems with. Well, when everything goes dry, all those weeds grow, and when the water comes back up, they all start floating to the top. You can't even get down in the Orange Lake at all from our place, and you can barely get into Cross Creek. You know, I moved from Miami a long time ago because I wanted to move back in America. You know, Miami got totally ruined. I grew up there. It was a great place to live, and this is a great place. I'm really happy here. But now you want to overpopulate again? I mean, that's ridiculous. What are we going to do about the water? You know, we're on berry farms all over the place. You know, Fort McCoy has a cow ranch. I think there's another one. You know, and they're taking millions of gallons of water. Now you want to put more and more water out, and it's just not going to happen. You know, I get a little excited when I start to talk. I get nervous. But, you know, who's going to pay for all this? Is going to raise the taxes, the property taxes? No, again, I can't get an answer, so that doesn't surprise me. And, you know, what's happening now is all our water is going down to aquifer because they're overflowing Orlando and Miami and everything in between. You know, they're taking all the water out of our aquifer. Now we want to, get rid of more of it. You know, our lakes are drying up. If you drive down the roads, you see all these lakes. The docks are up about 20 feet off the water. You know, and nobody has any answers for it, and nobody gives a damn. You know, the developer's going to make money. I don't know whether the commissioners are in it or what, but somebody's, allowing all this to happen, and it's destroying our area. You know, I moved up here because I like to be out when nobody's around. That's where my camp is. But, you're going to have neighborhoods right around the corner. You're going to ruin the Wacoosa management area, Grove Park management area. This is a good hunting area. They're cutting all the damn trees down. So, it's just gotten to the point where it's getting ridiculous here. You know, overbuilding is gonna ruin everything. I watched it happen in Miami, that's why I'm up here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Number 31, please come forward. And 32 is ready for John Dennis.
My name is Rick Roberts, I'm a resident on the outskirts of Windsor, very much in the Plum Creek area. I attended a lot of the Indigenous National Public meetings and workshops, and I was impressed by the smart development they proposed and some of their ideas. I know there were some hardworking people on the technical advisory committee. But what I didn't like in the final report I saw was how much development is proposed for our triangle in this area. Hawthorn, Windsor, and Orange Heights. And everybody wants more jobs in this area. And that would be great. I'd like to see some smart development ideas put into practice. However, when I saw their map and saw how much the purple, the commercial area proposed, was really hitting our area hard. I don't know what happened up down in the La Cruz area, why they decided not to develop anything there, or in the north central part of the county, or they didn't want to develop there. But I think 10,000 new homes in our area is just too much. My understanding is the Alaska County Comprehensive Plan would allow about 2,500 homes. And smart development with 2,500 homes would, I think, be great for the area. And maybe, and of course, some commercial area. 15 million square feet sounds like a lot. And again, someone else commented on this. If Plum Creek could come up with a little scaled-back plan, I think a lot more people who live in the area would be in favor of it. We also should keep in mind, if you have 10,000 households, that's 10,000 required incomes. And so right off the bat, you've got a 10,000 job demand before you get to the supply. So, anyhow, I guess that's the points I want to make. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Ms. Winsler, 32, please.
Scott Winsler, Executive Director of Life Habitat for Humanity. At Habitat for Humanity, our mission is based on the belief that everyone deserves a safe place and affordable place to live. Through our zero-interest, no-profit loans we have in our 28-year history, we have built or completely rehabbed nearly 120 homes. The vast majority of these homeownership opportunities are located in scattered sites in East Gainesville and in a 30-home development built in East Gainesville called Celebration Oaks, as well as 4 scattered sites here in Hawthorn. Habitat for Humanity homes are built using a large number of volunteers at sweat equity, as well as many generous donations from individuals, corporations, and foundations. As any one of our homeowners will tell you, we do not give these houses away. Habitat is a hands-up, not a handout. Family partners contribute 400 hours of sweat equity before assuming mortgages. In addition to our home ownership program, Alaska Habitat for Humanity rolled out its neighborhood revitalization initiative in collaboration with over a dozen partner agencies, organizations, and nonprofits. NRI is a holistic approach of collaborators working side by side with residents to affect change envisioned by the residents themselves. By the participation of community residents and voicing their vision, NRI's goal is to create a sustainable model of community development that can be replicated in other neighborhoods. We appreciate the support of many organizations in this effort, including that of Plum Creek, as they help Habitat for Humanity and our NRI program in furthering our mission. In addition, I appreciate the model Plum Creek has provided, bringing people together to discuss community aspirations. Plum Creek brought people together in a thoughtful and organized process. They listened, and they are leading a discussion that asks us to contemplate how a brighter future can be realized in East Gainesville.
Thank you. Number 33. Number 33, still. 34. Okay, so Jason. 34.
Hi, my name is Randy Elrod. I've been living in Atlantic County since I was a student at the University of Florida. Now I think I'm the oldest person in town, so I'm here to say I've seen a lot of change as I've been here since 1970. I think it's a travesty that there's people in this audience that feel that a private enterprise in our capitalistic and our democracy and republic, that they have a responsibility to not make money. We are a country of free enterprise and capitalists, and it is everybody's job to make money. Because if only the government taxes people, then we will all be a welfare country. And it makes me mad to think that people were thinking that somebody speaking on behalf of the Habitat of Humanity was in this for the money. I mean, think of the most amazing things for people who have never had a home. To own a home is the American dream, to be a homeowner. Growth is going to happen in Florida, whether people like it or not. We have had the worst winters up north and throughout the United States, and people are going to come to a beautiful climate like Florida. And it's going to grow with or without plant growth. And for people to think that because they bought 2 acres of land and that they have the right to not employ anybody because they have 2 acres of land is absurd. When people came from South Florida up here and bought 2 acres of land, they knew that growth was inevitable. They escaped whatever it was they escaped. If they wanted to have more room to have their own private facility, then they should have been like Plum Creek and bought a couple 100,000 acres so that they could be all alone on their property. The east side of Gainesville has been denied opportunity for the decades that I have lived in Atlantic County. For this commission to not see the opportunity of this phenomenal, tremendous 50-year plan for the east side of Gainesville. You don't need to have skilled laborers to be a waitress. There's going to be tremendous amounts of restaurants and retail space and technology. And there's going to be need for people who can wash a floor, sweep a floor, dust a facility. They can get great jobs. And the multi-millions of square feet of industrial, this community needs that. We are a tech-brilliant county. And we need to keep those tech brilliant ideas local and employ people here. So I implore you to really look at this again, and please don't deny the Southeast Gainesville this opportunity for the citizens of Atlantic County. Thank you.
Thank you. John, we have 3 speaker cards left, and I'll call forward. So if anybody else hasn't had a chance to speak and wishes to speak, this is a great opportunity. We really anticipate a lot more people tonight, so take advantage of this opportunity. We've got 4 left, starting with Mark.
I thought you were saying I was the last one. My name is John Martin. I'm a lifelong resident of both Hawthorn and Alachua County, and go back many generations, just like Matt Sorensen, Mayor Hawthorn was talking about. So, you know, if you moved here after 1960, perhaps I should have organized. But, you know, a sprawl is the definition of anybody beyond my back fence. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to cheer the country. They can do that on their own. I'm here to talk about opportunity, private property rights, and it's about how we do something on the east side of the community. Okay, so I understand that there may be problems, but I've heard opposition talking about they're either going to develop or they're not going to do anything. You can't have it both ways. If they're looking simply to raise the value of their land and they're not going to be bought, then what you got nothing to worry about. And if it's going to be developed, which this land is going to be developed over time, no matter what we say, the current comprehensive plan says that, right? So what I'm telling you is we've had a lot of people who, I know some of the people who are opposing this, and I'm not trying to label everybody with the same paintbrush, but a lot of you have said for years, we need better planning, we need master planning. Here you have the largest landowner If you're opposed to it, let's make some way to make it work. And I appreciate what people are saying about, well, they want to just see Hawthorn. Okay? And I'm not saying you're not genuine in what you're saying. But I can tell you as someone who's lived here all my life, multiple generations, had people teach school, been in politics and everything. If I can't support just doing it for Hawthorn, I'd love for it just to happen to Hawthorn. But what you're talking about is setting up a situation when you've got Hawthorn developed. Great, I agree with that. The west side developed and East Gainesville trapped in the middle. Never do anything. That's just not right. And there is a racial component to this, okay? Not when people opposed to it, but on the fact that nothing's happened in East Alachua County. No one has had the courage to put money in East Alachua County except government. They'll build a jail, they'll build a homeless center overnight. But this is the first time we've got an organized group of people who are saying that they are going to put private capital into East Alachua County. The first I've seen. Your city commission, right now, if you live in Hawthorn, has unanimously supported this. Don't just throw out that and just say, oh, they're just for development, because that's not true. The city of Hawthorn started back when I was on the commission. This current commission carried through and I approve of Hawthorn. They've taken a leadership role in environmental concerns in this section of the country. Look at what's happening here on east of Hawthorn. One of the best environmental eco-tourist sites in the state of Florida is being developed with the leadership that the city commission of Hawthorn is showing. So that to act like they don't know or they don't care about the environment if they're for Plum Creek is disingenuous. And the thing that I find, I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to speak the truth. The thing I find most insulting is this educational idea. That somehow that the jobs are going to be provided here, that the people in East Gainesville can't have the opportunity to get those jobs. That's an insult. That is an insult, ladies and gentlemen. If we can't educate our own people, then what are we doing? Don't condemn people. Thank you.
Thank you. And 37 is nearby. We need 1 minute to change the tape in the machine here. We've got a couple of seconds. Mark, you ready? Okay. Please come close to the microphone.
Steve Smith.
Thank you.
Michael Lowell. We just recently retired, moved back to the area. All those families lived here probably over 90 years. And we understand both sides of the issue here. I worked, between the two of us, we worked in community and economic development for over 85 years. I worked in the private sector, all worked in the public sector. We built roads, we built water sewer systems, we built industrial parks. We literally had a hand in thousands of job creations, from mom and pop, McDonald's, country stores, to Volkswagens, Mercedes-Benz, BMWs. I'm looking for progress as well. There are no services in the area other than, and most of all, being newcomers from me back here. We're interested in offering our services as volunteers with our experience, anything that we can do to work with both sides of this project. We'd love to see it become a reality. We want to see it done well. We know all about comprehensive plans, we've written, we've been involved in it. We've always funded millions of dollars in projects, and I've been involved with the project. So if there's any way the newcomers back, all those families that stay out here, we'd love to come along.
Thank you. Next speaker, 37.
Hello, my name is Patsy Frenchman. I've owned a home in Hawthorn for 35 years. My job is at Santa Fe College, so I have quite a drive, and have had for the whole time that I've lived in Hawthorn. I chose Hawthorn as a place to live because of the beauty of the area, because of the natural spaces that surround my home, because of the beautiful lakes in this area, sold to developers and an idea like Plum Creek could be marketed, which is all to me very vague in terms of jobs for my community, and I support the idea perhaps of some land use changes where we see the need for job growth and development. A project of this size, as big as it is, I don't believe that I can support. And like the gentleman pointed out, I do have the staff report. It's an excellent report. I really encourage the commissioners to read this report, to read the whole report, and look at the tremendous work that was put into it by their staff. Concerns for infrastructure and who's going to pay for the tremendous infrastructure. Should the plan actually happen? Where will the money come for emergency services and so on and so on? A very large concern, of course, for me is the water consumption issue that's been discussed a lot. Since I'm one of the very last speakers, almost everything I'm saying has already been said, but since I did wait for a long time to speak, I'm just saying it all over again. And then my final statement is that this would be the destruction of an enormous wild space. And the wild spaces that we have are few now. This is primarily wetland property that they're proposing to try to develop in some way. We're lucky to live in an area where we have that large of wild space. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Number 38, please. We have 2 cards left. Number 38, Open.
Hi, my name is Diane Open, and I've been a resident of this area for 35 years, and I'm also a real estate broker, so I'm not against growth in any means. And this side of the town has been slighted for many years, but part of it is due to the environmental sensitivity of the land and the wetlands. It's not really conducive to major manufacturing, and I don't think concrete by all the property that they have slated with the new comprehensive plan use. They throw everything in the kitchen sink, and then they can pick and choose whatever they want at any time. The land should, the development of the land should stand on its own merits. If it's developable, then develop it. But if it's wetlands, don't let them fill it in and use wetland mitigation and what that means is they can transfer other land that they own to the state bank and then use it in trade-off for them to fill in our land. And I happen to be in an environmental sensitive area, and across from the Grove Park Wildlife Management Area, well, that doesn't stop right at 20. All the animals come right across the street, and they have it slated for industrial. And also, they've also said they're going to put a rail yard in our backyard. So I don't think that, rails are known for being one of the most contaminated industries around. And I think be smart, growth is good, but don't mistake it for progress. And don't think that, concrete can be a good ally to the city of Hawthorn, but don't let them give them, clean, open slate to do whatever they want and bring in chemical manufacturing places to contaminate our land. I think I happen to have read the county's plan of denial over the weekend, and I thought they did a really good job as well as being as comprehensive. But if you have to say yes or no, I have to say no. But in my industry, I do want growth, but it needs to be smart. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have one final speaker signed up at the commission. Anybody else who's speakers, it's your time to speak up. Go ahead.
Appreciate it. My name is Ron Cersei. Right now, I'm living in Hawthorn, or just south of Hawthorn. Lived in Hawthorn or Windsor for all of my life, and that's 65 years. I wanted to, and so I feel like a lot of people here who have various years involved, and we all have an investment in this area. But my intent, anytime soon, is to eventually be buried here. So the point is that I am concerned about this area just like anybody else. But I want to talk just briefly about a different type of poverty than what I've heard examples of so far when we're talking about percentages of income. And that poverty best can be illustrated by the fact that one of the things I used to kind of marvel at, we were communities where people didn't want anyone in their 55 years or younger. They just wanted people 55 years older so they could preserve quiet and to basically just keep things like they were. Now, I have a concern on our side of the county here, that we're not backing into that quiet we we're talking about. And part of that quiet that we get is because of the lack of people coming to age 55. When I look around in my community, I see people who are, for the most part, on fixed incomes. And because of that, limitations on income, and I see myself in a lot of the organizations that I'm in as being the baby at lunch. And fraternal organizations and churches, I look around and I don't see those young people. Quiet is a nice thing to have, and our green spaces are treasures, but so are our young people. I've got 4 children. I've got 7 grandchildren. And like I say, I don't have an understanding of people who want to live only in a place where intentionally or unintentionally we have run away with the younger portion of our population. That's the poverty to me. The question I would like to pose to the panel is to consider what is happening to our area in terms of growing older on the east side. And I know the demographics are out there to be seen as to where our younger people are living. Nice thing, all these figures I've seen up here talking about the capacity that we have, industrial here, industrial there. But we do know as well, those have not been taken advantage of. There's a reason for that. And that reason means that we need something, and somebody has proposed something here that we ought to try.
Thank you. That concludes our comments. Oh, we got one more. Oh, you're number 2. You missed it already. I'm sorry. Okay, we'll go back. We'll allow that one.
It's not around when I remember this call, sorry. Yes, the Grove Park. And my land is not contiguous to Plum Creek land. And I've been attending a lot of meetings. Jury's still out for me how I feel about this, but I would like to thank county staff for all the work. I'm a former librarian with the Alaska County Library District for 42 because since the widening of Highway 20, and whatever it was the DOT did to change the hydrology, my farm is now underwater in a way it has never been underwater in 42 years that I have lived out there. We have had a drought, but even in the drought, I've had standing water in places I've never had standing water before. Yes, we have a clay layer 4 feet down, or a little more in some places, and the water sheets out there. And when I've asked questions at these meetings of both sides, and I'm not on the side at this point, but when I've asked questions, I've been told, we don't know what's going to happen, or it's going to be ditched and drained. It's going to be, the words used in one meeting where the water will be captured, utilized, treated, and drained into the watershed, so it'll still go into Lake Marcoosa and wherever else that water goes. I'm not a hydrologist. However, the two words that really concern me there are the ditching and treating. We'll have water going into Marcoosa Lake and down to treated water, and will we see ditches like we see all over South Florida? And my third question is, will my property then all of a sudden be in a 100-year floodplain? What's going to happen to my insurance? What's going to happen to my taxes? And that's very much about me, but it's about all of us who invested in land out there in that area. We have to think about us too. I really want our economy to improve. I really want more jobs. I really would like to believe we have a better education system. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Julie Penrod Glenn, and I live in Micanopy. I have 3 things to say. One is I don't gamble. And as I read the Envision of Alachua, after going to one meeting here in Hawthorn about a year ago, what I see is Plum Creek's Envision of Alachua as a series of really, really wonderful promises. These promises are not backed up by anything other than additional promises that are supported by community leaders, elected officials, and people from many, many worthy nonprofit groups and organizations like the Chamber of Commerce. My concern is that should the county approve these land use changes, will there be anything to protect the county and our environment from the developers who will then buy the land from Plum Creek? Plum Creek has said it doesn't intend to build anything. They say they're going to be here 50 years from now, but their president says, oh no, we don't do any vertical development. So my question is, will the county have any protections for this property should the land use changes be approved? Second, when I came to the meeting in the Hawthorn, the Envision Alachua meeting, I was really concerned about water. Water was my first issue because all of us need water. I got a big runaround when I asked the question at our local meeting, from where is Plum Creek's development going to get water? They shuffled me immediately away from the table and introduced me to their development of, their director of water management, and I forget the gentleman's name. I asked him, your plan projects using 1.8 to 9.2 million gallons of water per day over 50 years. Where is that water going to come from? He shuffled, he actually backed away from me. And then he said, well, we have a plan. And then he told me about their water savings plan. Eventually, he said, first we're going to drill down to the aquifer. We'll have to treat the water after we get it up, because that's water not very good. So who's going to pay for treatment?
And third, we have two other plans. We can run a pipeline to St. John's River, or we can build desalinization plants. This is from the development and their water management people. Don't do this. It's a terrible idea. County commissioners, don't do this. It's a terrible idea.
When the commissioners gave staff direction to schedule these workshops, it was to begin the conversation. This is the first of 4 workshops. The commissioners are here listening. Staff is here listening. We've recorded these meetings in 3 different systems. We are going to provide responses to the questions to the best of our ability, and some of them are rhetorical, to be clear. We are going to have those questions published and put online for everybody to see them. We're going to answer all the questions the best we can. We're going to have those answers up hopefully before the 3rd and 4th meetings, where we get more topic specific, and we're going to be able to answer some of those questions in the context of some of those presentations. The presentation at the Eastside High School will be the same as this one. You're welcome to attend all the meetings, but the format will be the same. This is the start of a very long process. This is only the first of many meetings. If we get past all the workshops, then we have the public hearings. There will be more dialogue back and forth between the applicant and staff. I'm sure of that. And that's the way these things are. It's a big thing. It's a big thing for everybody. I thank everybody for coming out tonight. I think I would, Mr. Chair, would acknowledge, thank you all for being here. Thank you for all participating. It's been very helpful for everyone. We'll see you at the next workshop. Good night.